Typically, after working with hundreds of people, we've worked with people that either are told donor eggs are their only option. They may have tried naturally for 2 years. They may have already had failed IUIs or failed IVF or IVFs. They may have had miscarriage or repeat miscarriage. So our thing is we're not anti-IVF, we're pro-health. So you can't skip the health. We're told in conventional medicine that the fast track to this is going straight to IVF. The fast track is working on your health. You'll either get pregnant naturally, or if you do need to go to the fertility clinic, you'll improve your chances of it working.
So I was just hoping that my fertility outcome would change. At that point, my FSH was ranging from almost an 18, and the highest it was getting like in the 60s. I was told I was in premature menopause, premature ovarian failure, diminished ovarian reserve. And I was just, hoping that this would help that. And, my body would just do its job at that point. I wasn't, so overage at that point. I was, I think, 36 or so, maybe 37. So I knew that something must have been going on. So that's why I said I have to give this a shot, and I hope that this could change whatever is going on in my body that's kind of making like my ovaries not respond to anything, like none of the medications, the injections, like no response to anything. Of we tried, I think, 7 times, and every single cycle there was not more than one follicle. Every retrieval, empty follicle, never had a mature egg retrieved. So I think I just kind of felt like something else is going on, and doctors don't look into it. Like they just see, well, these are your numbers, you need to do IVF. IVF didn't work with your eggs, now IVF with donor eggs.
So we are not anti-IVF. We are pro-health. It is so important. Like so many people, like we just see people that have gone to IVF and it hasn't worked, and they've been labeled a poor responder. They've had canceled cycles. We've got people doing, 20 IVFs. It's crazy as to what's going on there. Just because your insurance covers it, or maybe you have you have the financial means, the emotional heartache of that, and then pumping your body with that many hormones. We do not know the long-term side effects of this. So sometimes we think IVF is the fast track. The fast track is your health. So when you work on your health, you'll either get pregnant naturally, if you do go to IVF, you're going to improve your chances.
Like I said, I feel like it just caught my eye, and I just wanted to do it because I could at least say you tried everything at that point before moving on to donor eggs. I did not think it was going to work. And I hate to say that now because I know better now it did. But starting it and during it, I don't know. I don't think that I believed this could really change everything. I didn't really believe it going through it until I saw that it did work.
With the testing, you'll have the data. You'll have the data to be able to make the decision when it actually is time, because maybe you got a blood sugar imbalance. Maybe your thyroid is completely dysfunctional, which we see. Maybe your adrenals are so flatlined that you're just exhausted. And so you're maybe mentally, emotionally, you can feel strong, but your body is like, I don't think so. And there you're going in again to push it. And then we see it doesn't work.
Still not really knowing what was happening to my body. So I said to my husband, let's look into another fertility clinic to inquire about donor eggs, because we wanted to now do this right after we got married. So now it's June, a month before the wedding, and I make an appointment with the new fertility doctor. And then we had our first appointment. It was the very beginning of July. And I told him my whole story. I shared with him all the records from all of the fertility clinics that we have been to, and explained to him, like, we're inquiring about donor eggs. Like, I know I don't have a shot right now at my own eggs. So basically the doctor said, okay, we're going to still do our own workup. We're going to do your blood work. We're going to do a sonogram. So that same visit, he did the sonogram. And he was like, I see a lot of follicles here. And that was a little shocking because, on previous sonograms, like they weren't really even seeing many follicles on my ovaries. So I was like, oh, okay. But I still really wasn't thinking like, maybe this is working. So they did the blood work, and then the doctor calls me at home the next day. Personally, he called me and he said, I just want to let you know, your FSH came back at a 7. And I was like, mouth dropped, could not believe it, because at that point it was almost an 18 to 60's. So never seen a number like that ever. So he was like, listen, everything is looking really good. And even like at the point in your cycle right now, like you're at the perfect point right now to start an IVF cycle, and I think that you have a real shot now at your own eggs. So that was when I said, oh my God, like this worked. This is crazy. It really worked. And then we did IVF and had a great outcome.
10 times higher success rate than IVF. IVF will give you a 5% success rate with low AMH and high FSH, and ours is 10 times higher. So when you work on your health, then you can improve your chances of this working. Right now, you're in a very powerful spot to make changes to your health. And then if you decide to work with us on a monthly basis, we're going to review the data. And you'll make a decision as to when it's time for you to move to an IVF, to a PRP, to more of that conventional side of things.
I hope people join, because like I said, I know it works. I know it does. And I have my second baby on the way because of it. So I'm forever grateful. Anyone I talk to about like the fertility stuff, like I always emphasize, like, it wasn't the doctors. It wasn't so much the IVF doctors. It was this. Because if it wasn't for this, the IVF for me wouldn't have worked.